And now, the only cure for our basketball Jones. Hail Varsity's Jacob Padilla on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, baby.
Maybe that's why.
Here we are. State basketball is on our television. Jacob's doing a pod downtown until 3:30 last night or early this morning, and you still got to stay up and watch the Suns past midnight most nights, as well as Jacob Padilla of Herd Sports joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Jacob, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Connor. I'm doing all right.
3:30. That was the time last night. I saw the tweet this morning.
Yeah, I wasn't quite prepared for that, but DeMarinis got on a roll and I had to let him go. So got some things done while I was waiting around.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I wonder what he got on a roll about. I
Writing
guess,
a story.
Yeah. Oh, just writing a story. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we I was ready to go like 45 minutes before that, but yeah.
When's your voyage to Lincoln today? Or are you just leaving right after you get done with us here?
Pretty much. Gonna pack up and get stuff ready to go and head down for the last 4 games today. So I did 2 yesterday. I'll do 4 today, 6 tomorrow, and then I have no idea what I'm going to do Saturday because the Jays game is right smack in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you might. Is that going to be a multiple trip day? Is that going to be Lincoln back and then back to Lincoln?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide. The disappointing part is it's at the same time as the Class B game. Yeah. So I really potentially Britt Prince going 4 for 4. Won't be able to be there. I was there for the last 3, so that's disappointing. But I'll probably try to make it back for the Class A game at least. I don't know if I'll go down in the morning.
Well, I do have some good news for you. Minden is currently leading Bridgeport in Class C1 over at the Devaney Center. I'm sure you were wondering.
Oh no.
Oh no, or oh yes. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell.
No, honestly, I know Olivia Loomis Godel on Bridgeport, and obviously they're undefeated at this point. So
obviously,
you said it right.
I didn't. We said that they were undefeated.
We said it earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they're the 4 seed. Yeah. Obviously, they're undefeated.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious because you said it. Because everybody that's listening now, I'm sure, listens to the entire show.
That's right. Obviously, everyone listens to the entire show, and obviously, Bridgeport is undefeated. That's why it's Padilla time, because these things are obvious to us. All right, let's go back to last night where Seton Hall. I don't know what they're doing, Jacob. I'll speculate that they're trying to save their net ranking by not getting absolutely run out of the building last night, pressing against Creighton's like 9th, 10th, 11th guys off the bench, down by 20 plus last night in the last like 3 or 4 minutes of the game. I did not expect that from Seton Hall. That was a team that really didn't do much right, and seemed sort of uninspired in that one too.
Yeah, they shaved off all of 4 points in the final 3 minutes through that method. So,
yep.
Good work, guys. Yeah, it was. I think I was just impressed with Creighton's level of execution and how disruptive they were. Season high steals, tied season high for forced turnovers. They were really just locked into forcing Seton Hall into shots that Creighton wanted them to take. I mean, this is one of the better splits that you'll see in terms of shots Creighton wanted and shots Creighton wanted their opponent to take. And they just continued to execute throughout the game. I mean, Greg McDermott really highlighted Stephen Ashworth's defense on Al-Amir Dawes, making sure he doesn't get clean 3-point attempts. Takes over 6 a game. He got 1 off last night. And that really was the difference in the game because, like, you look at the paint and free throws, complete wash. It was even. I think, 42 apiece. The difference was Creighton took 32 threes and Seton Hall took 9. And that equaled to plus 33 from the 3-point line.
Not going to do it.
No. You're not going to win trading mid-range twos for threes to that degree unless it's one of the worst shooting days of the season for Creighton. And coming off a rough one at St. John's, they were back at home feeling comfortable, and you got 5 different guys knocking down threes. So that was the difference in the game. It really just comes down to Creighton's ability to execute their offense on both ends. And Seton Hall, I don't even know what their game plan was.
Me neither.
Because they were, like you said, they were kind of a mess on both ends. Like Creighton hit 13 threes, and they easily, like, it could have been even worse, the looks they were getting. They had a few rim out on some wide open, really good looks. Like, if those had gone down, and it was Stephen Ashworth missed one at the end of a really good sequence that I think would have, like, blown the roof off the place. Like, if that had gone down, just maybe completely broken Seton Hall's spirits. So, like, it could have even been even worse than it was with the way that with the shots that Creighton was getting.
Max said something last night that he said, this is going back a previous game, I suppose, but the quality of shots that they got against St. John's was just as good or better than the ones they got against UConn, and they obviously had, way different results. I wonder how he felt about last night, given Seton Hall's lack of kind of execution with that. And I do think the point he was trying to make was, hey, all we could do is get the good shots. Sometimes they go in and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the nature of sports, right? Like, if everything was so predictable, if you were going to play to your ability level every game out, sports would be a lot more boring because we pretty much know exactly what's going to happen going in. And that certainly isn't the case. And, like, shooting variance is a huge thing in basketball. It's just over the course of a long season, you have to work. It's got to be process-based. You have to continue to do what you believe is best and hope the results go your way more often than not. And, I mean, that's kind of what Creighton's been doing most of the season. Been a few blips here and there. And when those have happened, they've done a really good job of kind of bouncing back and rallying. They've lost 2 in a row, like twice all season, and nothing more than that. So, Creighton's, it's all about the kind of the shot selection. That's something that Greg McDermott has really kind of focused on throughout his career, and it's led Creighton to be the kind of team it is.
Jacob Padilla of Hurrdat Sports is with us. Who do you single out from last night? Because I could think of, like, obviously, Trey with a double-double. Baylor, he made 6 of 10 from 3, but he also did some great playmaking stuff. That touch pass to Kalkbrenner, and then you have Kalkbrenner, who just did a nice little 10 for 10 from the field last night. Like, who do you single out of that group that you're like, wow, that was a pretty good one from them last night?
Yeah, that's the tough thing about this team is unless it's a game like St. John's where only one guy's going, it's hard to single anybody out because those 3 guys in particular, and you can toss Ashworth in there more often than not recently, for Creighton to win or Creighton even be competitive, they're going to have big games because they play so much and they have so many possessions go through them. And games like last night are why this team is capable of being so good, because those guys are at that level. And kind of focus on all 3 in my recap because obviously you mentioned Trey, the double-double, career high 10 assists. And he was just phenomenal. He shot 1 of 6 from 3 and still had a great game. Just with his decision-making, with his pace, with his ability to pick apart Seton Hall's ball screens, because they were pretty aggressive. They were hedging, they were trapping, they were trying to be disruptive. They're getting in the passing lanes and the driving lanes. And Trey just stayed calm, stayed patient, and waited till the right time and made the right reads pretty consistently. And got Kalkbrenner 4 of those 10 for 10 shooting, including that 10th one was pretty nice, kind of really tough lob midair. Kalkbrenner caught it, like turned around and redirected it in the basket. And then mentioned Kalkbrenner, perfect day from the field, and moved into the top 10 on Creighton's career scoring list, past Paul Silas, which
crazy,
pretty good company there. And he mentioned afterwards, like it's kind of crazy. He, like, looks at some of those names and doesn't think he should be with those guys, but he is. because of the career that he's had, the work that he's done to improve from day one to now. Just in the shot blocking, obviously had 4 in there, and altered what Max said 8 to 9 more probably, and that's probably accurate. He was really impactful back there, and then Baylor, 13th double-double, tying what he did last year. Still with some games to play here, he went over 1,000 points just as a Blue Jay, and is the 11th player ever to hit 1,000 at 2 different schools. And the fact that he's done it in less than 2 seasons is pretty remarkable.
He had some great hustle plays last night, man.
Oh,
even the one, where he rolled on the floor and got called for the travel.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you could tell that guys were fired up last night. They had multiple guys hitting the floor and winning loose balls and ripping them away. Jason Green's offensive rebound that led to Stevens' 3 at the end of kind of that during that 11-0 run they had. And then Baylor, there's the one in the second half where he like sprinted from the wing and like jumped on a dude's back to rip the ball away and like bounced off him, and then they missed a shot and he went in there flying again, and the ball didn't go his way. But it was like, geez, dude, calm down, don't hurt yourself.
And then he tried to yam on the guy, and you know, I thought he was dead for a second. So
I think he probably got whacked in the face just based on his reaction. It was on the far end from us, so we couldn't quite see it. But Eric Francis got a pretty good picture of him going for it. And it's like, he wanted to dunk all over that dude's head.
And you can tell it's just a picture. You can tell everyone you made it. You know, you can tell everyone you got it.
Kind of like that Emmett Johnson over Rule, right?
There you go. Exactly. We were talking about this. I guess we've been talking about it for the last couple of days, as we sort of gear up for the postseason and think about some of these teams, and how they've ended their seasons, but what they were like during them. These 3, the 3 that we've mentioned all year, Trey, Baylor, Kalkbrenner, you would be a good person to ask. Who out of, if you took 3 from another Creighton team, who would they like definitively lose to? Because I think my answer is nobody.
That's probably right. Just in terms of like how well-rounded and complete these guys are. Because so like Doug, obviously you put him on his own, and then Rogge and Gibbs would probably be that trio there.
Yeah.
I mean, that Doug can win you that by himself. And,
True.
And you got Doug and Ethan out there that makes it tough for Kalkbrenner, just in terms of what he does defensively. Like who are you putting Ryan on there, and how can you have him in position to help if those are the guys that he's out there with? Obviously we're talking trios here, so it's like hard to compare exactly.
Right, but then you could do like a 4th too, like if you threw in Ashworth and then you threw in like Manigaw from that team.
Why don't we compare 5 to 5? Like that's how they play, right, Connor?
I guess it is basketball after all.
So basically, we're saying what team would you take over this one?
Yeah, I guess I am asking that question. Which team would you take, this one or the Doug team?
Again, that matchup problem worries me, just in terms of putting 5 shooters out there, and how are you going to maximize Kalkbrenner defensively against that group?
That's true.
But I think I'd probably say that this group wins more often, like if we're going to series. But Doug's team, Doug's obviously good enough to win. And again, with Rogge's on a heater on top of what Doug's doing, like those guys can beat anybody but Baylor, probably. So yeah, it's just the fact that Creighton has put together another team like this. We talked about the Mo Watson team whose run was ended prematurely, how good that team was.
1920.
That was the next one. Was again winning the Big East title, and obviously that season also cut short for multiple reasons. and then now this group again, like just the fact that they continue to put together these groups that are capable of these kind of runs and playing as well as anybody in the country, a testament to Greg McDermott and the program that he's built. It's in several different eras now, and each team plays very differently, but they still find a way to have success, and ultimately can, like, you still got the kind of the let it fly brand throughout.
Yep.
But each of these teams embraces it differently and kind of has their own unique style, and that's been fun to watch.
We were making this point too earlier. Like I just they always get better throughout the year too. I mean, it's not that long ago we were thinking, man, I just don't know. Do they have that edge? What's going to happen with point guard play? And it just kind of has been a steady climb. And this group has been about as good as they are right now, with maybe a couple blips on the radar since, I don't know, last week of January, probably, when you go back to that triple overtime first Seton Hall game, which is about the midway mark of the season. But how many times have we looked back and we thought, man, I think they're playing, just aside from the injury seasons with either Watson or Krompel or whatever, where they're playing their best, like literally right now when it goes into Padilla time.
Yep, and they're up to, they're 12 at KenPom. They are 12 in the net as well. They're in position to give themselves a chance to make another really memorable run here, and it's wasn't looking like that. So basically, they're in position or close to what we thought they could be heading into the year.
Yep.
When mid-season it wasn't feeling that way. Obviously they lost the 3 of 4 stretch there, went 0-2 to start league play, and then you're thinking, oh, what is this team? But yeah, I think the valuable lesson is, again, you can probably trust in Greg McDermott's teams to get better throughout the season, and they make pretty good decisions with the players they choose to bring in to the program and to plug into spots. And Stephen Ashworth took some time to adjust, and I think that's, in general, when you're evaluating college basketball, with the proliferation of impact transfers at so many teams, I think it's never going to be wise to judge a team completely off the first half of the season. You got to wait to see everybody kind of settle in, and Creighton has certainly settled in over the second half year, and now kind of everything is in front of them, all their goals.
So Marquette's up on Saturday. Obviously, these two teams have played a lot of fun games over the years, and Creighton was, like we've talked about, a very different team on December 30th when they played up there. And Marquette might be a little bit different. We don't know the status of Tyler Kolek for Saturday. I guess what are we looking at for Saturday afternoon, senior day?
Yeah, it's so hard to know what to think about this game now because of the Kolek oblique strain situation. Haven't seen anything about how serious that they might think it is, or what his status could be. I think heading into it is a huge game, a huge opportunity, chance to add another blue chip win to your resume. They've got UConn now to go with that Alabama win. Marquette's 11 in the net, 11 in KenPom as well. So again, a chance to add a third top 15 win to that group in terms of the metrics, to kind of put at the top of your resume as you state your claim for 3 seed and beyond there, and feel great about the way that you're playing going in, avenge a loss from earlier in the season. And now it's like, I don't even know how you prepare for that game because of what Kolek means to them.
Yep.
And they don't, Matt mentioned this on the pod, they don't really have another point guard. Like, Osogodaro, their center, is their other playmaker. And they run stuff through him. So like, if Kolek's not available at all, like that's a huge blow, and that completely changes the look of that game. So I don't really know what to think about now, outside of it's the last chance to see Baylor Shireman play in a Creighton jersey, potentially last chance for Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner. I think the fans will probably show up to show their respect and appreciation for what those guys have done in Blue Jay jerseys. But in terms of the actual on-court game, it's kind of hard to evaluate at this point, just with the unknowns.
Yep, big mystery. Jacob Padilla of Herd Sports. All right, Jacob, have fun today, and we'll see you at some point on Saturday. You'll be running off of pure Mountain Dew at that point, probably.
Yes, sir. I'll should be fun. If not a little tiring.
Thanks, dude. See you.
Bye.
Jacob Padilla of Herd Sports.